Unless this is your first time on the internet, I think it's pretty likely that by now you've seen a whole bunch of ads for a website called Temu. Not Temu, as I was calling it in my head. Apparently it's pronounced Temu. This junior varsity version of Amazon seemingly came out of nowhere and has taken the whole e-commerce industry by storm. How's that even possible? It's because Temu is owned by Pinduoduo, which is a Chinese logistics company. They figured out the secret of how to get things from China to your house way faster than any of those other services like Wish. The problem with Wish is that it would take weeks, sometimes months, for a product to ship out of China and reach your house. Temu has seemingly solved that problem by getting it to your house in just a week, sometimes even less, with the cheapest products you can get online and shipping speeds that are second only to Amazon. Is Temu an Amazon killer? Or are all these ads that we're seeing on social media just a bunch of spam from people that are desperate to get their free Nintendo Switch? And finally, the million-dollar question. Does this make Pinduoduo, ticker PDD, a buy? I think it's time we click on one of these stupid referral codes and give it a shot. One of the very first things that caught my attention is from the moment you sign up to this app, you are already in their game. It is the most gamified shopping experience I've ever seen. You always get these silly spinner wheels or card drawings, and you always seem to get the best possible discount. And I'm wondering, is this really a discount at all, or are these just the normal prices, and they're putting a game behind it to make you think that you're getting a great deal? And then I also saw very quickly why every teenager out there is trying to get a free Nintendo Switch by referring friends to Temu. It's because their referral program keeps you swinging from one carrot on a stick to the next to try to get these free items. But all these points that you're adding up, they don't seem to actually get you anywhere unless you refer a dozen people. My critique up front is if it's going to take me 12 referrals to win this free monitor, then just tell me I need 12 referrals. Don't give me some point system that requires 12 referrals anyway. I think it's pretty obvious here that Temu has no intention of actually giving away a tablet and a bunch of tools and screwdrivers. What they're very obviously doing is baiting you into advertising their platform. Kudos to Temu, that is very clever, because you just turned every single person on social media into an influencer. But while I'm sitting here sending text messages to scammers to get these price cuts, I know that at some point here, it's gonna make me actually refer someone. And it's not just gonna be one person, it's gonna be a dozen. So to get my $5 screwdriver for $0, I gotta get a whole bunch of people to join Temu. And I'm not gonna do that. But teenagers out there, they'll do anything for a Nintendo. And if you wanna just spend a few dollars instead of referring, well, go ahead and read the fine print. You'll find out real quick it's not gonna let you just spend $10 and get all these items. This is a referral game, and they're not gonna take your money, they want the conversions. Gotta hand it to Temu, this is creative, and frankly, I kinda don't like it. But you look past that, and you gotta admit, these prices are really, really good. Almost too good to be true. And what makes them possible, according to Temu, is that they don't have to jump through a whole bunch of middlemen to try to get the product to you. They take it directly from the source, right to your door. The truth is, I don't really care about their gamification of shopping or their aggressive affiliate program that's turning every teenager into a walking advertisement. What I care about is these prices. And are they cheap because Temu has achieved its objective of cutting out the middleman? Or are they cheap because they're pieces of crap? I'm gonna order a couple of boxes of items and find out for myself. I first have to admit that I was impressed by the shipping speed. I placed my order on the evening of June 21st, and within 9 hours it was already packed and awaiting delivery at an airport in China. It arrived in the US about 24 hours later, and within a few days it was already at a distribution center near my house, and it reached my mailbox on the morning of June 28th, so less than 7 days to go all the way from a factory in China straight to my house. That's not quite as fast as Amazon Prime, but it's a lot faster than any other direct-to-consumer service I've seen. I haven't decided yet if Temu is dank or wack. I didn't plan out the second part of this video. What's inside these packages is going to decide that for me. We've got about $200 worth of items here. Let's crack it open and find out what we got. All right, first item up. I'm excited about these for the homestead. These I ordered as gloves with claws on them. So as you dig in dirt, you can just scoop with these blades on here. So they're not exactly particularly strong feeling, but I think these will work out. We're gonna test these out later. Next, I'm not sure what this is. Next, okay, this is a drill attachment for drilling holes into the ground. So this is another thing that's gonna help out on Homestead Homies. If you haven't seen that channel yet, you'll wanna check it out. So this actually feels pretty strong. I'm gonna be interested in seeing how well this performs. All right, next up, cotton swabs, Q-tips. You will not find things like this cheaper than you will on Temu. So I tried to pick out something that I know you really can't screw up. we'll test these ones out. I think these will be just fine. Next thing, all right, my soldering gun. So I ordered a lot of hardware from Temu because I figure some stuff like this you really can't screw up, and the prices are unbeatable. So I'm gonna test this one out as well, and if it works out all right, I think I just got this thing a lot cheaper than I would anywhere else. All right, next item, this box here looks a little bit crushed. Hope what's inside hasn't been damaged. Oh, all right, I guess I got a second one of these. So we've got a smaller and a larger drill attachment for putting holes in the ground. So I guess we'll test out both of these. All right, next thing. All right, I believe this is my chainsaw. So it looks like some assembly will be required. I'll put that together off screen and then we'll test this out. All right, next one here. Check this out. So this is pretty much every single drill bit I could ever need. And this whole package was like $2 or $3. I have a feeling that stuff like this is the best type of thing you could order off of Temu because you can't mess it up and you're not gonna find this many drill bits for $2 anywhere else. So I ordered a whole bunch of stuff like that. Feeling I'm gonna pull a lot more out of this box. Here's another one. I'm not even sure how to use these drill bits. They're like big kind of bladed things. They look pretty powerful. So we're gonna test some of these out as well. Extra soldering wire. Probably am never gonna need it, but for $1, yes please. All right. I'm not sure what this one is. Oh, here we go, miniature screws. So this type of screw is used for things like electronics. One of those things, again, where you really can't mess it up. If it's the right size, it's made correctly, you're good. Stuff like this can replace bolts and all kinds of electronics. It's not much use for wood, but this is gonna probably last me forever. Toothbrushes. You should be replacing your toothbrush every month. I think most people probably replace them once a quarter. Getting cheap toothbrushes that are extra fine or extra soft bristles, can't get a better price. So I threw those in the box as well. $256 gig SD card and a USB drive. I'm not sure how many gigs are on this either, but stuff like this, you can get it just about anywhere, but Temu is by far the cheapest price. And let's be real, it's all made in China anyway, so ordering off of Temu, I'm not particularly worried that that's gonna be problematic. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. This looks like, all right, so iPhone chargers. A whole bunch of them here. There we go. So these are rapid chargers. You can find these just about anywhere, but Temu once again came in with the best price. So if you give me an opportunity to get a bunch of iPhone chargers, rapid chargers for $4, I'm gonna take it. Oh no, these are magnets. So each one of these is a little tiny neodymium or something magnet. For its tiny size, this is perfect for what we need. Pinning things onto the refrigerator, reminders, our kids' stuff. For about, I think this was like $2. I've got more magnets than I'm ever gonna need in my entire life, and they're strong for their size. And matter of fact, I got this shipped separately. This is another one. I was gonna use this for magnet fishing, but that didn't go according to plan. I'll play a little clip of it. I'm gonna have to get a larger one. But if you were to put these together, it's a pretty strong pull. So magnets like this, perfect for your refrigerator, perfect for other stuff. Bigger ones, magnet fishing. I'm actually excited to put these to test. Razors, I usually prefer electric razors, but every once in a while you need a proper shave. And these ones, again, dirt cheap on Temu. There we go. Okay, so these are some larger bolts and washers. Whole bunch of bolts, smaller ones, washers that are small enough to fit with this other hardware. This is gonna last me forever. Check that out. Magnet's actually pretty good. Oh, socks. All right, you can never have too many socks. I think these were about 15 cents per pair, maybe even cheaper than that, and this is gonna fully replenish my sock drawer. Next thing, this is the sheet metal snips. So you don't ever know when you're gonna need to cut some sheet metal. I guess these could be used for plants too. And the last item for this package is right here. So this is a hamper We need some more hampers. Ours are getting old, and they can get expensive at like a full store, so I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little skeptical about this one. It seems a little fragile, but we'll see how much weight it can lift. Right, moving on to package number 2. So this, I've got another chainsaw. Looks like some assembly is going to be required again, but now I've got 2 of them. We'll test these out and we'll see which one's better. All right, handful more items here. These are all interesting. They're wrapped in these separate bags. Oh, okay. This is cool. I was excited for this. So I saw this weird knife thing for like $3 and said, why not? I don't really know what it's for, but it looks really cool. So if it's not useful, I'll find a way to make it look good. And one more knife, similar idea. Cool looking knife, not really sure what it's for. It says it's made by Yang. Feels firm enough. We'll test this one out, see what it can cut. So this is a pretty good haul for the amount of money spent. I mean, for about $200, I got some cool looking knives, 2 chainsaws, more fasteners than I'm ever gonna use, magnets, cell phone chargers, razors, a couple of necessities like Q-tips and toothbrushes. I mean, this is good stuff for the amount of money spent. But the value doesn't matter so much if the item itself isn't any good. And a couple of these I'm a little skeptical about. So we're gonna put them to the test, and then we'll decide if Temu is worth spending your money at. These little magnets, are they dank or are they wack? Let's find out. They feel pretty sturdy, but do they have enough sticking power to hold things? And it looks like they do. And if I put a couple of them on top of each other, this is actually really strong. Even one of them is stronger than the actual kitchen magnet. So I definitely rate these dank. However, you will want to keep them away from small children. Ours is a little bigger than she is in this picture, so she should be okay. But if you have small kids, make sure you keep this away so they don't eat them. All right, next up, we're gonna try out these socks. They're a little thin. They're definitely a little loose. They seem okay. They seem okay so far. And if I put my shoe back on, now these socks are a little thin, but they're comfortable enough. So don't expect big heavy socks from Temu. They're gonna make them cheap and they're gonna be thin, but this works. It's got enough sturdiness to it. I'd call this a successful sock. Send requests for feet pics to kamikazecash3k@gmail.com. So I don't know what these knives are useful for, but my friend Dale is a fisherman. So Dale, go ahead and tell us, what are we working with here?
You know what? I'm not quite sure, to be honest. It kind of looks like a cross between a utility knife that you would use to cut rope because it has a ripping surface and an edge here to grab a line or a rope, but it's not sharp, so I don't know what you would use that for. The surface seems pretty sharp. It's rounded, so it looks like maybe for like, or it's rounded and it's pretty wide knife, so maybe for some sort of chopping or potentially skinning.
But this doesn't strike you as like, oh, I need this for my fishing.
Not quite, to be honest, yeah.
So is this dank or wack?
I don't know. I think there's only one way to find out. You gotta put it to a test.
Dale clearly knows what's up with that recommendation, so we did indeed use this knife to cut up some sausages, and I found it to actually be a really good knife. It was sharp, it was sturdy. I've got no complaints here, so once again, dank. All right, we're gonna test out these hole drillers. This is pretty firm dirt, so if these can drill through this, then they're pretty good. It was a breeze to get these things on. Let's see if they've got the torquing power to get through this dirt. Wow, all right, that was actually really good. I'm impressed by these. I thought this was gonna be really hard to work with. Let's see if we can get through grass. How about that? Yeah, that's good. I'm actually impressed by this. I really thought I was gonna have a hard time digging through, but that just went right in. So this is definitely good. Let's try the larger one. All right, here we go, big guy. Now this one has a little bit harder of a time getting through. I think because the head is so big, it can't quite get in. I don't know, let's give it one more shot. Otherwise, this bigger one might only be good for soft dirt. All right, this one's definitely a little bit harder to work with, but I don't think that's due to the build quality. I think it's a bigger screw, so it's harder to get into the ground. In softer dirt, I think this would work out pretty well. So I'm gonna give both of these a pass. The build quality is good. I think this is actually gonna be very useful to us on the homestead. I'm gonna give these gloves a chance to redeem themselves. Maybe they're better for soft dirt. So I'm gonna dig into this mulch, and it does work. I'm not getting a ton of leverage because the blades are just too far away from where your fingers sit, but it is better than using just plain gloves, but it's still not as good as a shovel. So I can't really think of a niche situation in which you would use these, maybe for digging some potatoes out of the ground. I'll hang on to these for the homestead, but I don't know, this is probably gonna be one of those whack ones.
This standalone chainsaw was the most expensive item that I purchased at over 40 bucks, but it was also a cinch to put together. Now, is it useful for actually cutting wood? That's the big question.
I mean, it works. It does get the job done, but it's not great, and I've seen better ones. So I'm going to assign a whack rating, but if you can get by with a whack chainsaw, then we're still in good shape.
So ultimately, what do we got here? Is this dank or is this whack? Well, when I look at it, I had a couple of dozen items here, and I can really only point to a couple that were not dank. The drill attachment chainsaw just did not go together because it was designed poorly and there was too much metal left in the hole, so I couldn't get one of the bolts through where it needed to go. Obviously, this one was whack, but that's okay because now it gives us an opportunity to test out Temu's return policy. Behind the scenes, of course, I had to try out a couple of more of these. I tried the razor just now. I had no problem at all with these razors. They worked just as well, probably better than what I can get at the drugstore for just a fraction of the price. I tried the toothbrush. Wasn't the best toothbrush I've used, but it got the job done, and I'm not too picky. And the cotton swabs weren't quite as cottony on the end as I would like. They were a little bit thin. I would have preferred more cotton, but it's a cotton swab. You know, it doesn't have to be the perfect item. It's not the best, but it's cotton swab. The only thing that I'm returning is the chainsaw that just didn't go together. And when I went to return it, they gave me a full refund and didn't even demand that I send the item back. So that's about as good as a return policy as you can get. So with 4 whack items out of a couple dozen and I got refunded adequately, I'd say this is probably as good as Amazon when it comes to the quality of items you're getting. I'm surprised myself. I thought these were going to be a lot worse than they actually are. But is Temu an Amazon killer? I'm going to say absolutely not. That's because when you go to search something on Temu, you're not going to find that item. You can search on Amazon pretty much anything, and you're going to find exactly what you're looking for, and then several alternatives that all meet your exact specifications. Temu does not have that level of inventory. It's still highly focused on knockoff goods, very cheap kids stuff, makeup items. It just doesn't have that breadth that I need out of my complete e-commerce picture. Only Amazon can deliver that. Perhaps in the future that can change. So I think Pinduoduo is not necessarily a buy right now, but it is something that I'm going to keep on my watch list. If all the hype about the free Nintendo Switches dies down and I'm still seeing a lot of Temu products being delivered to houses, then it's going to be time to start loading up shares of Pinduoduo. But if you decide this is going to be a major revenue source for the company, I wouldn't shame you if you bought shares now. I'm just not ready to do that yet. Even though I'm pretty turned off by this gamified shopping experience, and I'm just really getting sick of seeing all this referral spam just splattered across social media, I do admit that I am satisfied with the products, and that is the most important part. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the quality of item on Amazon has been dropping quite a bit anyway. I'm getting more and more knockoffs, way worse stuff than I used to get off of Amazon, and I think it's time for some new competition. So I'm happy to see Amazon and Temu going toe-to-toe. I've got my money on Amazon to win this thing in the long run. But I like how both of them are going to compete with each other, both of them are going to get better, and we as the customer will get the best experience and the best prices. You guys know you can always find me on Discord, and I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching.